let's take a little bit of a breath together. You can totally stay standing on your mat. You can lie down, whatever feels good. I'm going to stay up standing. Let's maybe place a hand on our chest, a hand on our belly, and take a nice big breath in through the nose. And exhale to just like, let that go. Let's do that again. Inhale in through the nose. And exhale to let it go wherever you are. One more time. Nice breath in through the nose. And exhale it out. From standing, planting our feet on the floor, gentle bend in your knees. Let's nod our nose, nod our chins. Keeping our knees bent, scooping and hollowing through the belly as we roll ourselves down in space. Melting one vertebrae at a time. At the bottom, giving your head a little shake yes, a little shake no. And then pushing your feet through the floor. Use your glutes and hollow your belly more as you bring yourself all the way up. Shoulders can do a little roll, maybe sweep those arms up if that feels good for you. And then bring the arms down, nod your nose, nod your chin, scoop and hollow through your belly, rounding through your spine. Gentle bend in the knees as you melt it down. Again, a little nod yes, a little shake no with the head. Keeping that gentle bend in the knees. And then pushing the floor away, using your glutes as you restack. And as you restack your vertebrae, can you restack taller than how you started before? I'm calming down a little bit, so this is good. One more time. Nod your nose, nod your chin. Coming into our bodies, into our breath, into the things that we can do right now for ourselves. So right now we can move through our bodies. We can move with our breath. We can do something really good to move energy, to get a bit stronger. Now from this forward fold, you're just going to walk yourself down, very contemporary dance style, into hands and knees. And you're going to tuck your toes underneath you. I'm just going to spin my lovely self around here. So you're going to tuck your toes underneath you so that we can get a bit of a stretch there. Can we start to really supercharge up through our hands so that our finger pads are melting onto the floor, and then we put weight in our wrist. We're going to take an inhale to be nice and long through our spine here. And then exhale out, round through your spine, push the floor away. We inhale, we're lengthening tail to head, not sort of like collapsing through our belly, more lengthening out. And then as we exhale, squeezing our glutes, hollowing our belly, pushing the floor away. One more time, inhale to lengthen out. As you exhale, can you round it? Can you hold the rounded shape of your body? So you're going to like really, really, really hollow as much as you can through that low belly, up and over through your spine. Take a breath in here through the nose. And then breathe out through your mouth like you're blowing something away. Scoop your belly round, hollow a little bit more. Inhale through the nose into the backs and sides of the ribs. And then exhale, scoop and hollow a little bit more. So we're trying to supercharge up, squeezing through our glutes, what's happening through the lower quadrant of our body, and then continuing that through the upper quadrant. Inhale in here, and exhale it out. Maybe stick your bum back towards your heels for a bit of a stretch. Now we are doing some wristy weight-bearing stuff today, so I just want to give your wrist a chance to be warmed up to that. So if you want to add some circles in here, taking your body weight around to the right, around through center, over to the left, and then back through center, you can. If you already sort of feel like, oh, my wrists are sort of crunchy, not feeling great, keep that in mind, yeah, for the work we're going to do. And then let's take that the other way. So as per always, our class time together is really a blueprint. It's an offering or a suggestion. So if there's anything that I offer or suggest that doesn't work for your body, please feel free to reach out to me. I do my best to offer modifications or like alternatives. And if none of them work for you, you can always reach out to me and I will help you figure it out. We're going to take a breath in here through the nose. And we're just going to exhale out, blow out that candle. Now, right out of the gate, we're trying to draw those ribs down and in. When we inhale, our ribs are inflating, right? And then as we exhale, they draw in and down. So we want to sort of catch that wave of them drawing in and down. As we think about our pelvic floor, pubic bone to coccyx, right now we're sort of opening through our tails a little bit, inhaling to let that happen, and then without actually moving your pelvic structure, as you exhale, think about your pelvic floor like a pancake drawing up, or an elevator drawing up towards your belly button. Inhale to let it draw down. Exhale to let it draw up. So everything as we breathe out is accumulating at our belly button, and then our belly button is opening wide. It's wrapping around us, yes? Take your breath in here. Take your breath out. Now your toes are tucked. We're pushing the floor away. We're long from head to tail. We're pulling those arms nice and wide and then hugging heels of hands down to knees. And right out of the gate, I'm hoping that turns lots of musculature on for you. Toes are tucked. We take our breath in here. And as we breathe out, we're going to lift our knees to hover. Inhale to lower down. I'm going to give you a few alternatives in a hot second. Exhale to lift. Inhale down just a little. And then exhale up a little inch. Good. So keep going if that's working for you. If it's not, you can always have your toes flipped the other way, so they're more plantar flexed, and then you can lift and lower, no problem. You could also be on your forearms here, working in this route if this feels okay. If none of these feel okay for your wrists, you can come up and you can take more of like a seated squat and then squeeze your glutes to come up. Although we are going to do that later anyway, you just get a head start. Taking a breath in, breathing out to lift. Lower down just a tap, and then exhale to lift it up. We're going to go for 3, exhale to lift. We're going to go for 2. As we lift, making sure we're not adjusting or doing funky things with our spine, it stays the exact same. Last time we're going to lift up, we're going to hold. Now, as you're holding here, little troubleshooting. Notice if you collapse through the upper body, keep pushing yourself away, even if you're on your forearms. Notice if you've really rolled over your toes, feel like your heels are radiating back and your knees are hugging in. And then all that upper body stuff still exists. Push the floor away, pull your hands wide, heels of your hands in. We're going for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Lower down, give it a little roll. Oh, I have a little spider friend on my mat. Just gonna, don't want to crush you. There we go. All right, wrist a little roll. I used to be terrified of spiders, and now I'm like, okay, it's your home too. Bring all the hand weights back down, all the fingers back down. It's been a morning, I tell you. Feel those fingerprints open up as they come onto the floor. Feeling the weight distribute across the hand, toes are tucked, or again, you're on your forearms. Take a breath in before we go anywhere. And then this time as you breathe out, can you start to tuck and round and find that roundy shape again? You're going to hold that roundy shape if it's okay for your spine, yeah? Make sure your head has followed the curve so we're not looking forward, yeah? We're trying to actually look all the way down towards your hips. Glutes are on here, belly is rounded. Take your breath in through the nose. Take your breath out through the mouth, and as you do that, hollow the belly more and fire into your glutes. You're totally revving your engines right now, yeah? Like our abdominal engines and our quad engines. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, stay rounded as you lift your knees to hover. Inhale down. Remember, you could totally be on your forearms. Exhale to lift. It's a little bit harder with the body, but that's totally fine. Exhale to lift. And if none of these feel like an option, you could be kneeling and do like a little squat back. Inhale down. Exhale to lift. So, as you're working here, can you tense every muscle of your body to lift you up? That means your glutes are on. You're thinking about using your quads like a little hook to lift you up. We're pushing the floor away. We're rounding through our spines, and we're breathing. See if you can round a little bit more every time you tap the floor, and then keep it as your knees lift up. Let's go for 3. Inhale down. Let's go for 2. One more time, we're going to lift up. We're going to hold it here for 10, 9. Now, if you're feeling really spicy, take your weight back just a smidgen. 4, but keep rounding. 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Take a little break. Give your wrist a little rock and roll. Really, really, really good work. Let's come down onto our backs. We've heated up a little bit now, right? Give the wrist a little roll. Give them a little break. Let's lie down onto our backs. And we're going to plant those feet so that they are parallel hip distance apart. They are not super, super close to your glutes. They are a comfortable distance away. And we're going to take your arms and reach your arms up towards the ceiling and then squeeze your whole arm on both sides. So strong, so strong, so strong. We're going to check in with our pelvis. So just start, hip bones and pubic bone are level. There's a little ladybug house underneath your low back. We're going to take a breath in, and now without using our glutes, we're going to find that rounded shape, but we're just going to find it now that we flipped over, yeah? So take your breath in. Take a breath out. Take your breath in. And then can you use your breath out to start to scoop through the low belly so that pancake pelvic floor or that jellyfish pelvic floor is drawing up towards your belly button. And as you do that, your pelvis is going to tilt backwards so that your hip bones slide to meet the backs of your ribs. Inhale to lengthen. Now, if you're like, my hip bones do not touch my ribs, they won't. But I want you to think of the direction down and back. Inhale to release back to that neutral. Hip bones and pubic bone are level, little space. And then as you exhale, we're thinking about working so deeply, it's not even about the front of the belly anymore. It's happening like right in the middle of your body. Inhale to lengthen to neutral. No glutes here. Exhale. This is all just awareness through the low abs. One more time. Inhale to release. Exhale to scoop. Okay, we're going to add on. Inhale to release that pelvis. As you exhale, can you scoop through your belly? Now fire your glutes. Push your feet through the floor as you lift your hips up. At the top here, make sure the thighs haven't separated. Hug your heels into your glutes. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, start from the tippy top of your sternum. Roll yourself all the way back down. Take a breath in. We're going to roll back up again. Now, as you roll, we start by recruiting through the core, and then we use the glutes, and that whole energy of this shape is out and forward. Take a breath in here, and then pressing through that big toe as you keep scooping to make sure those inner thighs do not wander away. If you have a ball at home or a block, or you could even put your phone in between right where your kneecaps are, or the top of your kneecap, I should say. That's like a fun little extra reminder. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, working through the spine, articulating your way all the way back to your neutral. One more time. As we breathe out, scoop and hollow, push through your feet, use your glutes, lengthen it up. All right, let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. So we're avoiding squeezing our shoulder blades underneath us, yeah? But as we're wide across the collarbones, we're so tense through our arms, like, oh, so strong. Find that inner line of your foot, big toe across to pinky toe, and there's that nice, gentle inner thigh awareness. Glutes are super on here, and if we took a peek, which you can take a cheeky peek for yourself, if you place your hands on your hip bones should be totally level, yeah? There shouldn't be one that's above or below the other. We want them to be the same. Now, can I keep my thighs totally still? I'm going to tilt my left hip down to the floor. And as my left hip tilts, my right hip goes up. But notice I didn't actually drop. I'm just sort of spinning my left hip, and then I fire my left bum, and it comes back up to center. Let's go the other way. So right hip is going to drop down. As we spiral our pelvis around to the right, we're still thinking high. The thighs are still totally still. And then fire the glute, bring yourself back up. Inhale to spiral to the left. And then lift that bum cheek back up. Inhale, spiral around to the right. Exhale. Good. So working with what breath is going to serve you best here. Now, as we're working, so it's not terribly complicated in form of like what we're like choreography here. We're just tilting and spinning that pelvis. Left hip goes down, and then we use the glute to lift, and then right hip, and then we lift. But because we've created such a fabulous foundation, it increases the intensity, hopefully, the longer that you're here. Yeah, I never want this to feel like static. Like, okay, I'm at a 5 and I'm at a 5 the whole time. How can we build this with our breath? Like, lift up higher at the top, and then keep that as you tilt. And then you're a little bit higher at the top again. We're keeping those thighs 100 completely still. Press down through big toe to pinky toe, toe mound. Squeeze your heels towards your glutes, but energize those thighs forward. My bum is starting to be like, okay, it's Thursday, we're doing Pilates. Yeah, so can we keep that energy going? Your belly is still totally supporting you here. That's why I always like to start with a little bit of core, because it's going to continue to be active throughout the class. Let's go to the left. Lift that hip back up. One more time to the right. Lift that hip up. Hold. Now I'm hoping we're at like at least a 7 in intensity here, yeah? If not, can you send your brain to your glutes and be like, okay, time to work. We're going to keep going with our scoopy spine, but it's different this time. Keep working through your core, through your glutes to support you. But as you inhale, you're going to start to scoop as if you were like, okay, I'm finished. And just as your ribs hit, so no bum, use your glutes to lift you back up and out. You're going to scoop and hollow through the belly. You decide that, you know what, maybe I don't want to be done just yet. And then lift your hips up. Scoop and hollow down. And then exhale to lift. Now, super important to keep in mind whenever we're doing work where we're lifting our hips up, if you can do your best to keep looking up to the ceiling, and I will do my best to be really clear with instruction, that would be the best move for all of us to stay nice and safe. Scoop and roll down. It's like you're trying to really hollow through that belly, and then you use your glutes to lift up. Scoop and hollow and lift. Now remember, we don't ever want there to be a homeostasis, like flatlining our effort here. We want it to always be increasing. So how can you press into your feet more? How can you work through your glutes more? Reach through the length of the thighs more. Let's go for 2. I'm starting to shake. Last 1. Hold it here. Take a breath in through the nose. Hold it here. Breathe out. Hold it here. Now can you squeeze everything with all of your might and then hold that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently roll down. Take a breath in through the nose. Exhale it out. We're totally going back up there. So as much as the arms are reaching up right now to add an extra layer, you can always bring your hands down. I recommend palms up, but they don't have to be up, yeah? Okay, so feeling again, whole foot on the floor, big toe to pinky toe, squeezing heels to glutes. Pelvis starts level. We start with the abs and then we lift the hips. So take your breath in through your nose. Exhale like you're blowing something away. Ribs are drawing down to waist. Pelvic floor is up. Everything wraps wide. Inhaling here to prepare. And then as you breathe out, do that little ab scoopy business and then fire your glutes to lift your hips up. This one's going to be a little different. So the first round that we were here, we were thinking about really scooping and hollowing. This time we're going to really think about hinging. So as we stick our bum out, we're trying to bring our hips and our ribs down together. They're only going to go just almost to the floor and then exhale, lift up. So we hinge, we create a little crease through our hip here and then lift. Hinge and lift, hinge and lift. Down and up. So to keep some stability going here, our foundation is super, super important. Yeah, press through all 5 toes. The weight of the foot is totally pushing into the floor. You're squeezing your heels to your glutes. We're using our glutes to lift us up. We're lengthening knees out over toes. Our arms are nice and stable. We've got 5 and down for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, hold. Okay, now it's getting spicy business, right? We're like 7.5, 8 is what I'm hoping we're getting to. Keep those inner thighs active, right? Imagine there was a ball there, or again, your phone is a great one to give a little squeeze. Now, making sure that everything supports your back, right? If your back is feeling not fabulous here, bring it down. You could always hover your glutes just off the floor. Fabulous option. Wherever you are, can you get really nice and solid in those arms? Give them a squeeze, and nice and solid in your legs. Let's roll up to our right foot so that our heel comes off the floor. We're lightly on our toes. Take a hot second and make sure that your hips didn't do any of the wonky business from before, and can we stabilize them nice and level? Maybe it's reasonable for those right toes to come up to a tabletop, only if your hips can stay level, and maybe it's reasonable for that right leg to reach up, only if your hips can stay level, and you're just going to hold here. You're going to hold it. You're going to squeeze the left heel to the bum cheek. You're going to radiate the left thigh forward. You're going to make sure that those hips don't do anything wonky, and you are supercharged through your right leg, wherever it is, for 5. For 4, can you lift up higher through those hips? 3, for 2, for 1. Right leg goes table, right foot comes to the floor. Let's inhale, stick our bum out, go just to the floor, and then exhale, lift back up. That's like our reset. All feet are pressing down. Heels are hugging to your glutes. Thighs are reaching forward. Take an inhale through your nose. Exhale, core stabilizes. Right? So it's not just hanging out in space. We want to protect our spines. Nice and scooped through your pelvis. Arms are supercharged if you want them up. Let's make sure the hips are level and then roll up to the toes of our left foot and take a little pause. Yeah, notice if anything funky happened. We want to keep them nice and level. And then maybe you roll up to a tabletop with that left leg. Maybe you reach it straight out. Wherever your left leg is, give it energy and watch that the hips haven't shifted. We're going to hold here. Sometimes it's harder to just like isometrically hold than it is to move. I feel like that for this. I don't know if you feel like that. I hope we all feel like we're working nice and hard. Keep checking in with those hips. Make sure they're not doing any funky business. Squeeze up into those glutes. Anchor through the right foot. Arms don't have to be up. They could totally be down, and you're still holding for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Place that left foot in and then down on the floor. Inhale, hinge to tap your bum. Last bit of business, we're going to lift back up. So we're here. This is what, our 3rd or 4th time here now. So we're like, okay, I know where I'm going. Last little chunk of work. So again, drop down a little bit if your back isn't feeling fabulous. You could lengthen up if it does. Feeling all of your home-based foundation work. And then can you roll up to your heels? Not your highest half toe ever. just like a 3/4. And then walk those feet a little closer towards you. So you're closing the gap behind your knee. And now this is gonna feel a little odd, but I promise it's worth it. Let's start to rotate those legs out as if you were doing like a froggy. And as you rotate, your heels come together. So now you have this gorgeous anchoring of your heels squeezing. Do not open your thighs out into their like most maximum rotation. Keep them at like a good 50%. Glutes are on here. Take a breath in. And let's take a breath out to like really indulge in how much work we can find here. Keep the heels squeezing. Like no matter what, they're magnetized. They are like so squeezing each other. Stick your bum out, lower down just to tap the floor, and then use your glutes to lift up. Lower down to tap the floor. Exhale to lift up. Inhale to lower. Exhale, inhale to tap, exhale up. Now the whole time you're working here, notice that there might be a temptation to stop energizing forward because now our knees are reaching out. Can you keep your whole energy forward towards your feet, not dumping back behind you? We're going for 4. Lower to tap for 3. Squeezing through those arms for 2. Last one, lift up, hold it. Squeeze through those heels. Imagine you have a band around your thighs. You're gonna butterfly those thighs open. 10. 9. But again, don't work in your maximum. Work like half to a quarter for 3, for 2, for 1. You can spiral back to parallel. Lower your legs down or your bum down. Give your legs a little shake. Take a nice big breath in through the nose and exhale it out. Okay, we're gonna stay on our back. We're gonna add a little bit of core here. So there's 2 pelvic placements that we were chatting about. One was neutral and then one was with that scoop. We're gonna add this to what we're doing with our legs. Although don't worry, you're not lifting your legs one at a time again. Can you take your hands and interlace them behind your head, please? We're gonna start right out of the gate by lifting our elbows up so you can see them in your peripheral vision. Give your head a little shake to like really soften through your neck. Now you can of course do core work without supporting your head. I'd like if we did for this first little bit. So feeling your feet planted on the floor. Find that, again, that like happy foot space away from your glutes. Start neutral, take your breath in. As you breathe out, can you do that little belly hollowing action? And then roll through your spine again to lift your hips up. Now from your shoulder bridge, or hip bridge, so we have the glutes on, we're reaching through those thighs, we're pressing through our feet. You're gonna do from the ribs, just a little teeny tiny curl up. So this is not your highest ab curl ever. And we're looking just over the horizon of our knees. And then it's sort of like you're a teeter-totter. You're gonna massage your spine all the way back down to the floor. And as you do that, you'll be able, like a teeter-totter, to maybe curl up a little bit higher. And then you lower your upper body down. Pressing through the feet, using your abs and then your glutes, you roll your spine up into that hip bridge that we've been in before. Using the support of your ribs, nod your chin, curl up, let your head stay heavy in your hands, and then massage your spine all the way back down. And as your spine goes down, you can curl up a little bit higher. Make sure you fully release your pelvis back to neutral, and then lengthen back down to the floor. Roll your spine all the way up, firing those glutes, lengthen knees out over toes. Press through your feet as you breathe out, nod your chin, slide the ribs so you have your little baby ab curl. And then as you're ready, watch the thighs. That was a good example. I just did it of opening my thighs out. Keep drawing your thighs in. Massage your spine to the floor. As your hips find the floor, you can curl up a smidgen higher and then lengthen back down. Scoop and roll. Press through your feet, lifting your hips up, nodding your chin to curl, and then massaging all the way. Release fully back to neutral. Lower down. We're going to do 3 more here. Now, please feel free to breathe as makes sense for you. It is a 4-count movement, but depending on where you want to be inhaling and exhaling, I recommend exhaling on the way down and then inhaling back and then breathing up. However, when you get to the top, please don't inhale and flex your body. You're going to want to exhale there and then roll all the way down. Lengthen it back. Now this last one together is going to be different. We're going to scoop through the belly like we practiced. So this is abs first. Then glutes to lift our hips up, reaching knees out over toes, finding that inner thigh line. Little baby head nod to curl up. And then as we massage down, this time I want you to stop when you're in that scoop. So you're not going to release all the way back to neutral. You're in that little hollow. And then as you inhale, lengthen your head back. Keep scooping through that low belly. And as you exhale, nod your chin, curl up. You're still scooped and you're thinking wide. Inhale to lengthen it back. Exhale, nod, scoop, and lift. Inhale to lengthen back. Exhale to nod, scoop, and lift. And so keep going here. You could always take your hands away and work that way. But to be honest, if you're feeling like 80% neck tension, then it's defeating the purpose anyway, right? So little bits of housekeeping as we are here. We're trying to scoop our backs towards the floor, not press our low backs into the floor. And remember how before we were talking about the hips sliding down to the back part of the ribs? That's how deep I want you to feel this working. It's not superficial up through the middle of your belly. It's actually happening like right through the middle of your body. And then at the top, we're avoiding any extra kind of like popping or doming through the middle of the belly. We're not trying to push anything up. We're actually trying to draw it in and flatten it. Now, if this is starting to feel pretty fabulous, you can feel the essence of warming up through your core, and you'd like to up the ante, you can squeeze your legs together and roll up to your toes. See how that goes. Notice if you lost the midsection support, and if that is going well, then maybe you lift just to hover. Just hover the toes. And then if that's going well, lift up to your full table. We're going to go for 5. For the sake of being able to talk and do this, I'm going to keep my toes down for 4, but you can be wherever you need. Keep scooping for 3. Head is totally heavy in those hands. Let's go for 2. One more time, you're going to curl up and hold. Now hold it up here, give your head a little shake. Can you keep scooping? And you can see right now, right? Like you can see your bellies. So notice if it's pushing up and if you've lost your low back space. Draw in and down and wide. You're holding wherever you are for 10. For 9, can you draw in through the ribs? Can you let your head be heavy? For 3, for 2. Last one, let your head come down, draw your knees into your chest, give yourself a little rock side to side. We're going to take a wave flexion, and then we're going to add it back in. So planting those feet down, you're going to find that same scoop, but this time you're not going to be curling up, which means if you would like to, I love whenever we're doing stuff staying on the floor to slide something underneath my head. It's just going to watch out for any funky neck things if we do that. And most of us do need that, so you can always grab something here. Feet are planted on the floor. We're like, okay, starting to feel this low ab business, feeling kind of good. Allow yourself to be neutral to start, hip bones to pubic bone, little ladybug house. Take your breath in, and as you breathe out, scoop and hollow through the belly again. Now, can you feel it just as intensively as when you had yourself up in your ab curl and whatever leg position? Yeah, like right out of the gate, can you get there using mind body connection? When you're ready, you're going to roll up to your toes. If this is as reasonable as it gets, stay here. If a little toe hover makes sense and you can still keep all of the connections, stay there. And if you'd like to come to a tabletop, you're going to stay here. We're going to flex through our feet, and we're going to open our legs out just a little bit. Now, can you imagine, just like you did when we were doing those shoulder bridges, that there's something between your thighs that are squeezing, but we're not actually going to let our legs touch? Does that make sense? So imagine you're squeezing something, so your legs are fighting to touch, but they can't touch. Flex out through your heels, take your breath in, and as you breathe out, hands come to your thighs. And what I want you to check in on is to make sure you are still scooping through the belly. We're going to create a little bit of tension here. We're going to go, take a breath in, and then as you exhale, push hands to thighs and thighs to hands for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7. Now, if you have a history of diastases or separation through the belly, then obviously don't do this. 3, 2, 1. Keep your legs up wherever they are, right? Take your breath in, release the tension. And then as you exhale, keep scooping and press into those legs for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Keep your legs wherever they are. Inhale, take a little break with the hands. And then exhale again, hollow through the belly, soften the ribs in, push into those thighs, resist back. Now, the more you push, the more you're going to get out of this. 10, 9. Super normal to feel a little bit in the low back. We're turning on our psoas muscle here. For 3, for 2, for 1. Now, can you keep the tension? And can we do a little roll over to the left so that the right hip lifts, but you're still squeezing into your thighs? And then put that hip back down. Can we do a little tip over to the right so the left hip lifts, but I'm still scooping, I'm still squeezing my thighs? Bring it in. It's like I'm trying to push you over. Can you feel like someone started to push you over towards the left? Your right hip hovers a little bit, and then you squeeze and pull it back down. And then you take a little tip over to the right, but nope, you can do it. You can pull yourself back in. Someone's pushing you on your right side, and you're resisting as you go to the left, but nope, you managed to pull yourself back in time. One more time, tip over to the right. No, you can't push me over. I pull back to center. Hold it center, 10, 9. push. 8, scoop your belly. 7, 6, energize up through those feet for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock. Nice big breath in through the nose. Exhale it out through your mouth. Okay, feet start on the floor. We're going to do that again. Well, a version of that again. We're getting like fired up. I am so excited to do this next little bit with you. Okay, so hands are going to come behind your head, starting with a neutral pelvis. Take your breath in. As you breathe out, scoop through the belly so that you have that nice hollowing. And again, we're able to access tension here without anything really happening yet, right? Like just by using our breath in our body and knowing what it should feel like, we can turn it on. Take your breath in, and as you breathe out, roll up to your toes. Maybe you hover, maybe you lift your legs. Now we are going to be reaching our left leg away from us. So if you want the right leg up or right leg down, you could stay with that as well. But the left leg for sure is going to be moving here. Take your breath in, and as you breathe out, nod your chin, curl up, look between those thighs, and then freeze. So you can flex or point your toes, I don't mind. Can we housekeep in here so we know what it feels like to scoop, we know what it feels like to flex, we know what it feels like to need to stay contained, find all of those things. Left leg is going to move. Inhale. Don't change your upper body, just your left leg reaches away from you. Inhale to pull that left leg in, and then exhale to reach away. Now I'm really specific with the breath here. I want your exhale as your leg reaches, please, if that's accessible to you. I don't want you to inhale when the leg goes long. The reason for that is because I don't want us to bubble up and create too much intra-abdominal pressure. I want your exhale to exist for you so that you can release a little bit of like builded tension and create your own tension. Exhale to reach. If you'd like to add on, you inhale, lengthen back in space. Exhale, curl up, look over those left toes. Inhale to lengthen back. Now remember, all of this movement of the upper body of the leg is really just to challenge what you've created at center, right? So keeping in mind, where is the relationship of your low back to the floor? What's the relationship of your hips? Can they stay completely level with one another? Are you bubbling up through the middle of your belly? Or can you access some width? Can you access a little bit deeper connection here? If this is going well and you'd like to add on, upper body's going to fold towards the upper out right corner. Inhale back through center. Exhale it up. We're going to go for 4. We're going to go for 3. You got this, team. We're going to go for 2. Scooping and hollowing through that belly. One more time. Take it up and then hold. Now you could totally let your upper body be down if it's like not interested in continuing on. Or that left leg can come up in space. Your upper body is up and over to that right side. And then exhale, your left leg lower straight. Inhale, your left leg comes up. Now I'm still scooping. And as my left leg reaches away, I'm scooping more. Inhale, that leg comes up. I'm curling with my upper body up and over to the right outside of the right knee. One more time with that left leg. Exhale it out. You can keep the leg long. You could bring it up. You could put it in. We're going to do little pulses up to the right for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Bring it in, take a little break. Inhale and breathe into that belly. And exhale it out. All of that again on the other side. So lots of layers, right? Like your feet don't have to be down. You could have one foot up. You could have both feet up. Your body doesn't have to be up in flexion. You could keep your body down and just do the leg portion. Like lots of ways to play, right? So pick and choose what makes the most sense for you. If there was like 5 of me, I would do all of them to show you, but there's only 1 of me. Okay, hands behind our heads. Let's start back in the neutral, right? So like start at home base so that we can adjust. Take your breath in. Big breath out just to let it go. Okay, Pilates breath. Inhaling through your nose, like you're blowing something away as you scoop and hollow through that belly. When you're ready, you're inhaling to look up at the ceiling. As you exhale, slide those ribs down to curl up and look between your thighs. And then it's up to you, right? You could keep your feet down. You could roll up to your toes. You could do a little toe hover. You could lift. But it's all dependent upon what's happening in your lower belly, yeah? This time we're moving the right leg, so you could keep the left leg down if you wanted to. Inhale here. Let's start with just the leg. Exhale to reach the right leg away. Inhale it in. Exhale to reach. You got it. Now I have some stuff happening on my right side, so I'm going to keep my left leg down on this guy, but you can, again, put your leg wherever you need it. As the right leg reaches away, it's not dead energy, right? It is like so charged up. You have your glute allowing there to be support for the back part of the leg. You have your quad reaching with you. So again, don't let that leg just be sort of noodly. If you want to add the upper body, inhale to lengthen back. Now remember, you're scooping as the right leg reaches away. Inhale to lengthen up and back. Exhale, slide the ribs, connect to that pelvic floor, reach. And the whole time, even though we're curling up into ourselves, we also want to think wide and flat, yeah? It's not like a squishy position. It's actually more of like an up and over a beach ball, like a spacious curve. If you'd like to add a bit of a twist, upper body goes towards the outside of the left knee. Inhale to come back through center, fold it up and over. And what I want you to notice as you're doing all of these moving parts is what's happening to your pelvic stability, because ultimately this is what this is all about. And remember when we were doing our hamstrings and glutes that we said we don't ever want it to feel like homeostasis, like it's just sort of the same every time. We want it, as we're breathing in and breathing out, as we're curling up every time, to build in intensity. We're going for 2, I'm shaking. One more time. Option to hold. Now remember, you don't have to keep your upper body up. You could totally come down. Your inhale brings your right leg up. Now scoop more as you exhale. Hollow more through the belly as the leg reaches away, opening through the front of the hip. Inhale to bring the leg up. Exhale, maybe you could curl up a little bit higher. 2 more. Inhale, the leg goes up. I'm on fire. Exhale to reach. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, the leg reaches. You pick user's choice where that right leg goes as you do your pulses up to the outside left knee. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. Knees into chest. Take a big breath in through the nose. Exhale it out. Can you reach your legs nice and long? Give yourself a big stretch through that belly. And then we're going to roll over onto one side, bring ourselves up. We're just going to bring ourselves up onto our knees. So I'm going to actually keep this blanket here to keep my knees nice and supported as I'm kneeling on my mat because my floor is kind of hard. Feel free to do the same. Feel free to grab some water if you'd like to. I'm going to go sideways to you. And we're going to start up nice and tall. So using still the essence of what we just did right in our core to support our bodies. Ears, shoulders, hips, and knees are doing their best to sort of line up over each other. It doesn't have to be perfect, but basically we want to avoid sticking our bellies out or super tucking underneath us, right? We want to be nice and level. Let's start with our hands at our hips. You're going to really now scoop through that belly so that those glutes, I know I just said don't do that, but I changed my mind. You're going to scoop, 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 and turn your glutes on. Like poke your bum and be like, oh, buns of steel happening here. Keep your hands to your hips to start. We're going to really thrust that pubic bone forward and take a bit of a hinge. Now, as you hinge, I'm hoping your thighs are like, oh, this is exciting. Pause for a second and then use your glutes to bring yourself up. Hands can be at your hips. Inhale to take that bit of a hinge. Use your glutes to pull yourself back up. 2 more. Inhale, bit of a hinge. So notice I'm one long line. There's no break in what's happening here. Pull myself up. One more time. We're going to hold it here. Now, you could bring your hands to your hips. You could bring your arms across your chest, whatever feels good, for 10. And you are squeezing your buns like it's nobody's business. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, bring it up. Just a nice little bit of opening through the front of the body, yeah? Let's bring ourselves all the way down. So you're going to come and lie on your belly. Well, I said nice opening, but maybe it was more like hot, sweet fire opening, which is totally fine as well. Let's bring ourselves all the way down onto our bellies. It's like sweet relief, right? Being down on the earth. And you're going to take your fingers. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a trust situation because you're going to be looking down and I'm going to be speaking, but I think we can do it. So you're going to interlace your fingers. You're going to lie down on your mat so that your palms face down and then your fingertips come to your forehead. Okay, do we think we can do that? And then once you're down on the mat, you're going to be looking down, right? So again, a little bit of a trust here that I'm going to guide you with as much articulation as possible. And you're going to keep looking down. We're going to take those legs and can we open them out just a smidgen wider than hip distance and turn those legs out and away from each other. So your knees are looking away. So now we're going to counter all of that work we just did in flexion by finding a bit of extension, a bit of opening through the body, right? In order to keep our low backs safe as you're down here, right, because your palms down, can you notice when you come to rest on the mat if your hip bones are really pushing into the mat? Can you take a few breaths? And then can you scoop through your pelvis so that your pubic bone gets a little more anchored so you're not totally weight bearing on your hip bones. I don't want you to lose your hip bones completely, but I do want you to think more towards pubic. You need abs to do that. And then glute strength. Let's turn the quads and the thighs and the hamstrings and all the lower body on. It's just like, raring to go. And then you're going to look down at your hands. So hands down. You're going to take a breath in. And as you breathe out, roll your shoulder blades onto your back for me. So we're wide across those collarbones. You're still gluing fingertips to forehead. And then as you exhale, you're just going to float upper body, fingertips, elbows, so that you're in a little hover. Now, you're not in a huge extension, right? This guy we're going to keep pretty low so that we can stay towards pubic bone. Notice if you're pushing your ribs into the mat, can we draw them in? Now, my range is going to be different because I want you to be able to hear me, but you're going to work in your full range. Take one more breath in here, and then exhale to come all the way down. You're looking down, I'm just looking towards you so I can be heard. Take a breath in here, bring your shoulder blades onto your back, widening across those collarbones, and then draw your shoulder tips in, your shoulder blade tips in as we lengthen out and up. Hold it at the top there. Remember, you're looking down, forehead glued to fingertips, and then melt down to the floor. A few more like that. Inhale to bring the tension into the back of the body, keeping pubic bone heavy. As you breathe out, draw belly ribs in so you can lengthen out and up. It's like you're crisscrossing shoulders to opposite ribs, and it creates a little back harness here for you. Take a breath in. Feet are glued to the floor, still lower down. One more time. Inhale. Remember, you're looking to the floor. Exhale to lift up. And you're going to hold here. So little bits of housekeeping. Notice if your shoulders are shrugged up to your ears. Can you bring your shoulder blades on your back? Can you draw those ribs in? Collecting your pelvis towards your pubic bone. Legs are nice and long and turned on, yeah? We're going to inhale to lower just 2 baby millimeters. And then exhale, just float back up 2 little baby millimeters. This is tiny. Go down 2 little millimeters. And then float up 2 little millimeters. Remember, you're looking down. 2 little millimeters. Up 2 little millimeters. One more time. Down a little bit. Up a little. And then just hold there for 5. For 4. Again, check in wide. Ease across the shoulders. 2. Last one. Gentle lower down. Now you can turn your head. If you'd like to take a little shell stretch here, you can. And then bring ourselves all the way forward. We're going to add a little arm action to this. So when you're ready, palms are facing down, legs are active, looking down at the floor. You're going to find those shoulder blades on your back. Find all your little housekeeping with your legs and your pelvis, and then bring yourself up to that little baby hover. So we're working right across our mid-back here, right into our posture muscles. You have some erector spinae happening as well because we're reaching nice and long. And you take your breath in, and as you breathe out, reach your right arm like you're doing the YMCA. Pull that arm in, and then reach your left arm like you're doing the YMCA. Right arm reaches out. Now the whole time you're doing this like halvesies YMCA, you're keeping your whole upper body nice and stable. Your feet are glued to the floor. Do not lift your feet off the floor here, please. Reach. Pull it in. Reach it up. Left arm goes. One more time. Right arm YMCA. Hold the right arm out in the YMCA. Left arm out in the YMCA. And then sweep those hands down so they're hovered beside your hips now. You're one long line. You're like an arrow shooting through space. Notice if your gaze is going forward or if you're really, really tucked in. We're looking just straight down. Check in with your pelvis. You're more to pubic bone. Belly ribs are drawn in. You're going to take those arms, make fists, and squeeze your arms without hyperextending. Keep like a micro bend in the elbow, but squeeze the muscles in your arms. Shoulder blades are on your back. Can you inhale, open your arms back out to your YMCA. Keep your arms squeezing, and then from your armpit, squeeze your arms back in. Reach your arms out into the YMCA. Keep towards your pubic bone, and then squeeze. Now, if your low back is starting to bother you here, notice, keep going, if you've gone too high. You want to stay pretty low here. It's a very, very low hover. Also notice if you're sitting into your hip bones, we want to be more pubic bone. And if it's completely just like no bueno, not fabulous, you can come all the way up and do this work here, yeah? But if you can, staying in that extension, YMCA it out, and then squeeze it in. We're going for 2. Both of your arms at the same time. One more. Hands come to your hips and then freeze. Little baby bend of the elbow. And then squeeze the arms as tight as you can into those triceps. Little baby bend. Exhale, squeeze to reach. Little baby bend. Exhale, squeeze to reach. We're going for 3. Keeping that width across the shoulders for 2. Imagine you're squeezing your elbows together behind you. 1 more time, hold. We're going to pulse the arms up for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Can you hold it here? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a little break. You can give yourself a little windshield wiper, or truly, if you want to go for that little bit more of a stretch through the back of the body now, you can fold it forward. You could be on your back if you'd like to. If you're belly down, walk your hands over to the right. Taking a breath in here and a breath out. And walk your hands over to the left. Breathing in here. Breathing out. Back to center and then all the way up. We're going to come back up to kneeling. So I'm going to anchor down through my left leg. And then my right leg is going to come out nice and long. We're going to do a few side bends, and then we're going to add a no weight-bearing handed side plank, which is like, one of my favorite things right now. I really love it. So we're just going to inhale that right arm up, and then as you exhale, take a little side bend over. Take a breath in here, and then you still need to recruit through your obliques to bring you all the way up. Now, if coming down to the floor is not an option, don't worry about it, right? Just take your side bend however makes sense for you. Bring it up. This is easeful right now, or I shouldn't emphasize the full, easeful. Right now, just adding a little bit of lateral movement to the body. 1 more time. Now this time, if you'd like to do the no-handed side plank, you're going to really root down through your right foot. You're going to start to come up and then freeze. So you're reaching your upper body in a diagonal. Watch that the ribs aren't doing funky things, yeah? We're drawing them in one long line. Think about using your glutes to support a neutral pelvis here, and then maybe your bottom arm comes up, and we're holding for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7, for 6. I sound calm, but I promise I'm working hard. 3, 2, 1. Bring it all the way up. Pull that leg in, maybe give yourself a little up through the hips, and we'll go the other way. So left leg is out nice and long. We're tall up through our bodies. Inhale the left arm up this time. As you exhale, take that side bend over to the right. Breathing in and bringing out. And again, if going all the way doesn't feel good, please don't feel like you have to. If going all the way does feel good, you can drop all the way down for a big side stretch. Truly, whatever's going to make the most sense in your body, right? It's your practice. All the way over. All right, this one is the one that changes. So we reach our arm up, we take that side bend over. Connect into your ribs as you lengthen out. So now I haven't come up all the way. I'm on a diagonal. I'm rooting through the left leg, zipping through the thigh, connected to the belly, and then that bottom arm comes up to meet me. And I'm like radiating in opposition here. Head and arms are going up and out. Leg is going down. Glutes are on to support me. And I'm just like continuously growing here for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Last time, bring it all the way up. Give yourself a little shake, shake, shake. So I like to leave arms and push-up stuff to the end so that our shoulders, our neck, our wrists have all had a chance to warm up before we just do it right away. So that's what we're going to do. Usually I don't give you a little preemptive ramble, but I thought I would today. So if being totally on the floor is too much for your wrists and for your shoulders, I've been getting a lot of that recently. I think it's just because we're all home more. So if that's bothering you, you don't have to go fully to the ground. You can come up against a wall, or if you have like a bench or a kitchen counter on an incline, feel free to adapt that way, right? The more vertical you are, the less you're going to feel in your wrists and your shoulders. We're going to do it a little bit differently today. So we're going to come all the way down. You're going to set yourself up so that your hands are like wide of your shoulders and maybe a smidgen down, maybe a smidgen up. You'll have to see in your orientation. So don't worry, we're going to do this a few times and you'll see the pattern. Can you spin your fingers inward just a little bit towards each other? And we're going to start lazy. Isn't that nice to start a push-up like down here? You're going to take a breath in. You're going to take a breath out and just feel the weight of your body. On your next inhale, look to the floor and roll your shoulder blades. So find that upper body extension that we just did, right? We were just here. And then you're going to worm your way up to either a kneeling plank or a full plank. Super slowly, with your glutes on, with your abs on, we're going to lower for 3. We're We're gonna lower for 2. We're gonna lower for 1. You're gonna hold it here and then melt back down. Turn to look at the floor, roll your shoulder blades on your back. You start with that bit of extension we just did. Worm your way up, which I know usually we don't do, but we're totally doing it today. And again, you could be wormed up into a full plank. 3 counts down for 3, for 2, for 1. Hold it here and then melt it down. Shoulder blades on your back looking down at the floor. When you're ready, worm your way up. Hold it there and then little lower 3, little lower 2, little lower 1. Melt to the floor. Look down at the floor, shoulder blades on your back. When you're ready, press and worm into kneeling or a full plank. You could also be at the wall. And then lower 3, 2, 1. Little hover and then melt down. We have 3 more. Look to the floor, shoulder blades on your back. Worm your way up. Lower 3, 2, 1. Little pause and then melt to the floor. 2 more. Look to the floor, shoulder blades on your back. Worm up. Push your whole arm, like not just your hand, but the whole work of the I'm sweating. All the work from your armpit all the way down. Yeah, it's not just your fingers pushing. Lower 3, 2, 1. Hold it there. And then melt. 1 more time. Looking to the floor. Little press to worm up. Lower 3, 2, 1. Now you can take a break or you can push back up and set yourself up for a plank. You could be kneeling. You could still be on your knees. If your feet are off of the floor like so, can you make sure that your heels are reaching back? Not too far, but as your heels are reaching back, your head is reaching forward. Now, if you're up on hands and knees, open those feet a little bit wider. And we're going to take our right hand and we're going to tap up to our shoulder and down. Sorry, hands and toes, not hands and knees. Take your left hand, tap to your right shoulder, and then put it down. Right hand taps to left. And the goal here as we're tapping shoulder to shoulder is not to wobble through your hips. And you'll see I don't do a very good job of that. You could also just totally be rocking a plank of your choice. 1 more time, right to left, and then left to right, and then come down, take a break. I've been revisiting exercises that I know my body is like, we don't feel our best here in like an ego way, so it's always good to do things that you know your body is like, oh, this is hard. Okay, let's come back down. So second round of push-ups, instead of it being that more narrow spinned in hand, we're going to take a wide arm and your fingertips are going to face forward. It's going to be the same pattern. So the first few, you might have to adjust your hands a little bit. Like, please feel free to do that. Don't just leave them somewhere that doesn't feel like it makes sense for your movement. We start chill though. I'm loving this version of a push-up right now because I like that we have a chill moment. So your legs are still energized even though they might not be lifting up. When you're ready, looking to the floor, shoulder blades on your back, press right out of the gate. Feel the whole hand pushing. Worm your way up. And again, you could be in your plank. And then we lower for 3. Elbows go wide this time. 2, little hold, and then melt. Look down to the floor, shoulder blades on your back, belly stable. We worm our way up. That's my favorite part, to be honest. I love the wormy. And then lower 3, 2, 1, make sure your glutes are on wherever you are, and then melt. Looking to the floor, shoulder blades on your back. Push the floor away, belly strong. 3, 2, 1. You got it. Down. 3, 2, 1, and melt. Shoulder blades on your back. Worm your way up in space, and then down. 3, 2, 1. Hold it there. Little melt to the floor. 2 more. Through the whole arm. Look down. Worm your body up. Down. 3, 2, 1, little hold to tease, and then melt. This is your last one here, looking down to the floor, shoulder blades on your back, worm yourself up. 3, 2, 1, and then you could push up, reorient yourself into your push-up position, or if you're feeling kind of spicy, you could flip it around and do a reverse plank. This is a lot more opening through your chest, through the whole front of the body, through the triceps. If your neck doesn't feel great, make sure you're looking down. And we're lifting up and holding here for 10. You could be in a regular plank, or you could be like, I'm kind of over this, and just be done. 4, 3, glutes are so on here. 2, last 1. Bring it down. Give yourself a little shaky shake. Nice big breath in through the nose. Nice big breath out through the mouth. We're going to set ourselves up so that we're sitting cross-legged. And if you know you like a bit of a boost, like I like a bit of a boost, you're going to grab a blanket or a block or sit on a chair, whatever makes sense for you. Keep your legs crossed, nod your chin into your chest, And just melt yourself forward. Taking a nice big breath in here through the nose and exhaling it out. Walk your hands over to the left. Now, if your right leg is in front, this will feel exciting. If your left leg is in front, it'll just maybe feel kind of like chill. And then walk your hands through center, walk them all the way in the other direction. Bring yourself back through center. Bring yourself all the way up, and then let's take it the other way. So you're just gonna flip your legs. Inhale to be up tall. This time, let's dive down and in, just to mix it up. A few breaths at center here. And then walk your hands over to the right. So if your left leg is in front now, this will maybe feel like a little bit more. If your right leg is in front, probably won't. Or maybe it does still, I don't want to assume. Walk your hands over to the left, see how that feels. All the way back through center, roll your body all the way up. Can you let your legs go out long? I'm going to turn sideways here. Let your legs go out long, but let's not like fully straighten them. Let's keep a little baby bit of a bend here. You're going to inhale and then exhale down. So again, if you want to be seated up on something, it's a great option to melt it in. Inhale here and exhale out. So by keeping that little bit of a bend, I'm trying to keep it out of my knees, and I'm really flexing out through my feet. And I'm not worrying about chest to thigh, I'm actually trying to curl in on myself. Breathing it in. Breathing it out, walk your hands back up, take your hands behind your hips, and can you just do like a little press, a little heart opener? It doesn't have to be graceful. Walk yourself back to center, nod your chin, and then roll back down again. Taking a breath in here, and the breath out. Rolling your spine all the way up, and then taking those hands all the way back. Opening up through your chest. Then let's do one more, nodding your chin in. Walking your hands forward. Breathing it in. Breathing it out. Walking your hands all the way up and then taking those arms back, a little press to open the chest. And then bring it in. You can cross your legs or leave them long, whatever feels good for you. Let's inhale. This is my right arm reaching up. And then a little side bend over to the left. Breathing it in. Breathing it out. Left arm comes up, side bend over to the right. And up, and then both arms reach up. Nice, big stretch. Bring it down, give yourself a squeeze. You worked so hard today. We started off in that quadruped, which was really amazing for working through our protraction, through getting into your quads. We worked through our abs, we worked through our glutes and our hamstrings. You worked through your upper body and extension, mobility through your shoulders, some triceps, plus some biceps, some side planking. You worked really stinking hard. So excited as always to be able to offer you class. I'm so sorry about all this YouTube confusion. I feel much more calm about it now, moving the energy. So I have high hopes that it will all be rectified as promptly as possible, and we'll be able to connect again on YouTube as soon as we can. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Thank you so much, as always. Bye!